Hi everybody, my name is Felix and I am the location manager for First Student at Villa Park, Illinois location. So I started with the company back in 2011 as a driver. Pretty much just looking for supplemental income in addition to my previous full-time job, which was primarily a weekend gig type of thing. So it was a perfect fit for both financial and schedule-wise, since it still allows me to set aside time for my other job in between AM and PM, and have two incomes coming in at the same time. So in fact, there was a point where I was still trying to finish up my school, but I was still able to drive on either one of the shifts. So the staff worked with me trying to accommodate my priorities, and I do appreciate that very much. So in 2013, I resigned from my previous employment. Literally, at that point, driving the school bus was the only one that kept me afloat financially. I mean, if you think about it, a 20-hour a week part-time job might seem insignificant, but it did help a lot at that point. So in 2015, a couple of positions opened up in Villa Park, and so I applied. Got rejected on a couple of them. I got a little discouraged, but my manager back then, she kept telling me, "Hey, be patient, keep applying," and so I did. And I finally ended up with the payroll office help position in 2015, in the fall of 2015. So long story short, I worked through a couple of staff positions until I became the assistant location manager at Glen Ellyn location. And I was transferred to this location in Villa Park this past February to assume the location manager position. What has changed? Wow, there's a lot of them. I'm not even sure where to begin. But I think first and foremost, the hourly rate has gone up by 50% since I started. I started with $12 an hour. Yes, you heard me right. $12 an hour back in 2011. And we are currently at $18 an hour, and it will be at $19 this coming August 1st of 2019. Second is there's this huge driver shortages. Not only school bus companies, but also I think all the commercial transportation companies as well. So we started to feel the impact on driver shortages, I think back in 2016. It might have started earlier, back in 2015, but nevertheless, it was a very challenging year. But yet we managed through it. From what I read, the shortage of drivers is being felt by all the school bus companies, not just First Student, and it is across the U.S., including all the school districts who are employing their own bus drivers. And in particular, Midwest and southern part of the U.S. are the areas that got hit the most, to my recollection. And this coming fall and spring of 2019 and 2020, we do have work available, not just the regular routes, but also bus charters. So from the time I started helping out in the office as payroll person until about 2 years ago, I always believe in the notion that drivers are my customers. I need to see and treat them as my customers. Now, the same way I treat the school districts, the parents, the students, and charter customers and so on. But as I become more involved in operations with drivers and school districts, it really got me thinking, whether this way of seeing or thinking is actually sustainable within the perimeters of operation. Now, without going into too much details, I think the more accurate way of seeing and treating drivers is to see and treat them as partners, not customers. I mean, think about it. My goal as a manager, and if I want to include the location as well, and the drivers are the same. Complete coverage and the highest customer satisfaction possible, which in this case, the customer is the school districts, the parents, and the students. And second, I think when we see and treat drivers as partners and vice versa, then both the management and drivers are at the same level of accountability, mutually accountable to each other, management and drivers. So we provide work. We as management, we provide work. We communicate the needs of the customers, and the drivers are on the receiving end, on the front line, out on the field, executing plans as requested by the customers. So within these perimeters of operation, I see both management and drivers as a team, really as a team, partnering and working together in order for us to make things happen for our customers. I have two things actually. First, that I want them to know that they are deeply appreciated. I've said it more than 100 times to many drivers. You have no idea how thankful we are as staff when you show up for work every day for your shift. Nobody knows their routes better than they do. Nobody does their route better than they do. And I believe that they are the best drivers for their routes, hands down. And second is that I need their help to make this coming school year a success. Now, not for me, but for our customer. As I mentioned before, we are short of drivers. We need more drivers. You might ask the question, don't we have a recruiting team? Yes, we do. Don't we have a recruitment plan? Yes, we do. But I strongly believe that each one of my drivers is the best recruiter there is for my location. There's a little over 100 drivers in Villa Park. Let's just imagine that if each driver bring just one new driver for this coming school year, I think we will have a very strong and successful school year in 2019-2020. See, we got both the sign-on and referral bonus right now going for a very limited time. And also we have our website set up for our online application. It's vp.firststudentcareers.com, vp.firststudentcareers.com, where people can find more information and apply online themselves.